Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Happy New Year's again. Uh, Welcome to the channel for all the new folks. Thanks for hanging out. Reggie will be back on the next video. He had to handle some business. Reggie's got a lot going on. But I am going to go over a process of me weathering Norfolk Southern SD40-2. And I want to thank all the subscribers, all the new ones, everybody that came back and just hanging out. I appreciate y'all for real. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff, you know, bells and whistles. But yeah, let's go on and get into this weathering process. Okay, so I got this Scale Trains engine from a friend of mine. I bought it used, and as you can see, he did some weathering already, but I want to add a few of my own bells and whistles to this thing here. And just, I like how I weather, and not to sound like, oh, I do it better. I just don't like the dark trucks and the dark tank. When you weather black stuff, it tends to be white or real dusty looking. So yeah, I'm gonna go on and change this up a bit. And so here, and I'm just prepping the engine, right? I didn't have to do any dull coat, but because he already did that. But I laid out some tape, just used my X-Acto knife and cut little squares to fit the ditch lights, the windows, the front windows, and all that stuff. This is just honestly basic stuff that whatever you don't want to get painted, you know, you mask it off with some tape, I guess. So I did the number boards, the side windows, came around to the back and also did, you know, those number boards and the lights and ditch lights back there as well. I didn't do that window because I want some dust to actually be on those windows. So I didn't do that at all. And here I got an Iwata airbrush, the Eclipse HPC5, I believe, or CS, one of the two. And it's their starter set, starter airbrush. And starter meaning it can do very thin lines or very big brushy strokes. I've had all types of airbrushes, Pachets and Badgers, and even the I can't remember the name of it, but it's a cheap one from Amazon, and they work. So it's not like, you know, if you don't have an airbrush or the high end one, it's not going to work. But this Iwata is a beast. And then here I'm using the actual dust color from Ammo. And you can put this in the airbrush or just paint it on or whatever, but that's what I'm gonna be using. And you know, when I'm airbrushing, or anyone that should be airbrushing, you should just be doing nice, even strokes and going past your subject. So I start the airbrush even before I start painting the actual train. And you can see how it's lightening up here a little bit. And I just like the way the airbrush gives me that effect. I know there's people that, you know, don't use the airbrush and use paints and all that stuff, but paints and brushes, I prefer the airbrush. It just gives me a more unified a look, if you will, you know, and it's easier for me. I not knocking anyone that's using something different, but that's just what I prefer. And so here I was using the matte black for the grills and the exhausts and all that stuff, because that stuff is really sooty, really black. And then, like I was saying previously, that if you look around those exhaust and all that stuff, it's typically lighter, but the exhaust is really black. So you have to get some reference so you can see what's happening. And here I am using oils and thinners. And so I'm going to get right into these trucks where shadows hit, all that, just because I want to create some depth from what the actual shadow is doing, from like the brakes and the brake levers and all that stuff. So I'm gonna help, I guess, facilitate some more of that depth and shadow. So I put a little bit of oil on the tip of a toothpick, and I just start dabbing, like I said, in those little cracks and right next to things that normally would create shadows, but I want to help add more depth to it. And so once I'm satisfied to where these oil dabs are, I get my brush, a very thin one, get a little thinner on there, and then I just let the thinner and me dabbing it kind of, I don't know, create its own magic, if you will. I do want to create fades, and so I kind of add a little more thinner and then pull that oil out just a bit more. And honestly, this is a really quick video as I'm sitting here voicing over it. I'll probably drag this out here a little bit longer because I want to talk a little more maybe about what's happening. But yeah, this is the finished one. This is not a really hard thing to do. I remember when I first started weathering engines, I was very scared to do it because it's an expensive piece of equipment, if you will. It's an expensive piece of the hobby, and if you do it wrong, then you're kind of just out there with something that you don't like, and that it's kind of just, you got to deal with it. So like I said, I was a little fearful, but as I did it once and done it again and done it another time, I became more comfortable with it, and now I'm okay, actually weathering these things. You can add a little bit of powder here, a little bit of powder there. You can see I've added some engine oil to make it look like some of the fuel has leaked out of the fuel tank, the part where you actually fuel. There's some drippage, some stuff happening that fell out of there, but yeah, it's not as hard as I know I made it out to believe, because I've done numerous box cars, and I just felt like, oh, well, I need to go on and do an engine. I think I could do this. And I think anyone can, honestly. It's not that hard. The main thing is just get reference and make sure you're trying to get somewhat as close as it. Even if you're not wanting to get the exact reference look of what you're going for, it'll still help with getting the right colors and the right feel, if that's what I'm trying to convey here. I'm an artist by trade. I'm a tattoo artist. I actually teach art sometimes, so reference is probably the main thing you want to focus on. So but yeah, with that said, this is the finished product, and I do appreciate y'all for hanging out. I want to give a shout out to my my Patreon folks. I want to thank those folks for supporting me on what I do. Be sure to check out the Patreon. We got some cool stuff that we give out there. See what you like, pick a tier, and get some cool stuff, yo. And until next time, stay well, stay motivated. I hope this helps someone, and I'll see y'all in the next video.